When did the golden child finally lose everything? My brother Kyle could literally do nothing wrong in our parents' eyes, while everything I did was somehow a disappointment or not quite good enough. He'd skip family dinners to hang out with friends, and mom would say, oh, Kyle needs his social time, but when I had drama club, she'd guilt trip me about missing precious family moments. Kyle got caught cheating on 3 different tests in high school, and dad called the principal to explain it was just stress from being so talented and overwhelmed. When I got a B+ in chemistry, they hired a tutor because clearly I was struggling and needed intervention. The double standard was insane. Kyle wrecked his car drunk driving when he was 19, and our parents covered it up and bought him a brand new truck because he learned his lesson and needed reliable transportation. When I accidentally scraped the garage door, they made me pay for repairs out of my part-time job money because responsibility builds character. Kyle dropped out of college after 2 semesters, and they said he was finding himself and exploring his options. I graduated with honors, and they said, well, anyone can get good grades if they have no social life and just study all the time. They converted the garage into a recording studio when Kyle decided he wanted to be a musician, but never actually practiced or wrote any songs. When I asked for help with my student loans, they said we need to be smart with money and you need to learn independence. Kyle would steal money from mom's purse, and when she noticed, she'd convince herself she must have spent it and forgot. When her jewelry went missing, she assumed she misplaced it. When dad's tools disappeared from the garage, he figured he loaned them to someone. I tried pointing out the obvious pattern, but they acted like I was jealous and trying to cause drama. Kyle started a business with $20,000 of their retirement money, and when it failed in 3 months, they said at least he tried, and failure is the best teacher. When I asked for $1,000 to take a professional certification course, they said maybe next year when finances are better. The breaking point came when Grandma Dorothy got sick. She needed full-time care and had about $200,000 saved that she planned to leave equally to all the grandkids. Kyle suddenly became the devoted grandson, visiting her every day and volunteering to manage her finances since everyone else was so busy. My parents praised him for stepping up and being so mature and caring. Within 3 months, Grandma's savings were mysteriously draining away. Kyle claimed it was all medical expenses and household needs, but never had receipts. He'd buy her generic groceries and pocket the rest, claiming he'd bought organic everything. He convinced her to sign a power of attorney because it was too stressful for her to deal with bills. My parents refused to question anything because Kyle was being such a wonderful grandson, and how dare anyone suggest otherwise. Grandma passed away 6 months later, and when the will was read, there was almost nothing left. Kyle had drained everything except about $10,000. The lawyer mentioned some suspicious transfers, but Kyle had power of attorney, so technically it was legal. My parents still defended him, saying he must have used it for Grandma's care, and we should be grateful he was there for her. That's when my cousin Ella, who worked at the bank, pulled me aside. She wasn't supposed to say anything, but she'd seen where the money actually went. Kyle had been transferring it to his own accounts, then to a casino app. $200,000 gambled away in 6 months while Grandma ate generic bread and watched her stories in a freezing house because Kyle said the heating bill was too expensive. Ella had screenshots of everything: the transfers to Kyle's account, the immediate transfers to the gambling site. The times and dates match exactly. She'd been documenting it for months but didn't know what to do because technically Kyle had legal authority. I called a family meeting and said I had something important to share about Grandma's estate. Kyle immediately got defensive, saying if this was about money, then I was being disgusting and disrespecting Grandma's memory. My parents started scolding me before I even spoke, but I pulled out the printed screenshots and started passing them around. Here's $50,000 transferred to Kyle's personal account on January 10th. Here's the same $50,000 transferred to Bet King Casino 3 hours later. Here's another $30,000 on January 25th, another $40,000 on February 3rd. Every single transfer is documented. Kyle tried to grab the papers, saying those were private banking records, but everyone had already seen them. My uncle Robert, who was a cop, asked Kyle if he wanted to explain why Grandma's money was going to online gambling while she was dying. Kyle actually said Grandma wanted him to invest it for the family's future, and gambling was just his investment strategy. The room exploded. Full story on channel. Link below.